Gettysburg Museum of History Studios. You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hey everybody, June 20th, 2026 at 10 a.m. we have our first Patron-Only exclusive Get Out of the Car tour. That's right, you have to be a patron of Addressing Gettysburg to come on this tour. Go to patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg if you would like to find out the details of the tour, where we're meeting, all that jazz. But we'll tell you what it's going to be about anyway, right? It's about Brigadier General Francis Channing Barlow and his crazy cockamamie kooky decision to take his division forward to a position he was not assigned to. Sounds kind of familiar, although it happened before. So was Barlow pulling a Sickles, or did Sickles pull a Barlow? I think we all know Sickles pulled a Barlow because, yeah. But anyway, Lewis Trott is our licensed battlefield guide who is with us here today. And also Eric Houston, listener turned patron turned AG Director of Programming. And he is...
they won't give me a hat. They won't give me name tags.
So he made it himself.
I had to take it upon myself.
He's an inventive guy. But he is the guy who put together this whole schedule. Well, he did the footwork for Lewis and me after we decided what they're going to be. So, welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for doing this. And let's talk a little bit about this. Barlow makes a very controversial decision. People, not as much as Sickles, but they still argue over it today.
Before that, let's talk global freezing, because it's June and I am freezing. I got my hat on still. I haven't taken my hat off for 4 months now.
That is the crazy thing. I was up on Little Round Top this morning, and I could have swore with the wind, it felt like it was a wind chill of -20 or something.
I know.
Like it was.
And I just went out to my car for a minute, and my head froze.
Yeah,
I didn't have my hat on.
I mean, you've been since January. You've been wearing that same tassel cap.
Yeah,
I don't even know what my hair looks like. Well, I don't have
stinks.
It's got
I bet it does.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last one we gave away the secret that these are our wardrobes that they're kept in the other room. We just put them back on.
Yeah, we just
every time
change into them, so it looks like we did it all in the same day.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so Brigadier General Francis Channing Barlow, and he takes his division out there. Big controversial guy still to this day, not as big as Sickles, but big nonetheless. Yeah. I don't like him simply because of his middle name, Channing. I don't like that.
But he's not a good person.
And then I find out he was befitting a douchey name like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. With all due respect to Carol and the other one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Best I can do for Carol. You're right. He does essentially the same thing. He does it beforehand. What Sickles does on a smaller scale. There is a big difference, though. Not going to say it here. I'm going to say that big difference in my mind. And I've never heard anybody explain this difference before. So it's my third original thought of my 61 years of life. But, he's part of the 11th Corps. And the 11th Corps gets a bad rap because of Chancellorsville. And they get, in my view, that bad rap is unfairly given. I think the debacle at Chancellorsville is a failure of their higher leadership, meaning Howard, a division commander named Charles Devens, who's not with them here at Gettysburg, at that echelon, that's where the failure lies, because they get plenty of warning. The Confederates aren't retreating. They're out on our western flank. We should do something.
Right.
And it's the German commanders that do something. Schurz does something. The brigade commanders do their best to orient as best they can, but still most of the regiments are facing south when the attack's going to come from their right flank from the west. So, but Barlow is exempt from all that because his brigade had moved earlier in the day to follow Sickles' corps forward.
Over at Catherine Furnace, right?
He's in support of Sickles at that point. So he escapes all the blame and stuff. And then there's a lot of Germans that make up these regiments that get trampled on. And it didn't matter what nationality was in that position. You could put lily white, born in Iowa, corn-fed Americans in that same position. They're going to get overrun.
Right.
But those troops, as they're being assaulted, do their best. They don't simply run away. Some of them do, but they do their best to stop and reform a line and fire back. They try to give as much as they're getting. numbers, though, tell
Sure.
the story, and they're overrun. So they have that stigma when they come here. And before that, relatively speaking, the 11th Corps is a new corps. They're formed in the fall of 1862. Howard is not their first commander. Franz Sigel is. He comes from the same class. I call it a class of people who Europeans have moved from Europe after the 1848 revolutions that have failed, and a lot of them are escaping to America because they're not going to survive if they stay there. They're going to be captured and put to death, most likely, for starting these revolutions. And so Sigel is their first commander, and they love him. He's one of them. You know, we fight with Mitzvigel, yeah. But he's replaced, you know, with Howard. And Howard comes in. He's a religious guy. There's probably a language barrier here. There's certainly a cultural barrier between him and the majority of his troops. So there's that. And he starts replacing people. And one of the replaced people that gets put in as a replacement brigade commander is Francis Barlow. And so Chancellorsville is his first big battle test with the 11th Corps. And a lot of these units, it's their first fight, period. First big major action, period. Because they don't really take part in the Fredericksburg action, and then the Mud March happens. We know about that. And then there's nothing really until Chancellorsville. So Chancellorsville is really their first big action with fighting. It's a disaster. Again, in my mind, it's more of an upper echelon leadership failure than a lower level troop failure. But they come here with this stigma. And Barlow may or may not see it the way I've just described it. He probably sees it, well, these are inferior foreigners fighting. And I got to treat them as such. He's not a nice guy. And so he decides on his own accord to move his men out to higher ground, Blocher's Knoll, now given Barlow's name. High ground is usually the ground you want to occupy, but that's situational dependent.
Right.
And in this case, Blocher's Knoll is not necessarily the best ground. And there's a consequence to his action. But again, it's strange to me that he doesn't get derided like Sickles. Maybe it's because of Sickles. Sickles is a murderer. But we've got his pre-war drama that, you know, showed up on...
Right, because they're both badly wounded.
Yes.
In this battle. So it's not like, well, they were easy on Barlow because he was wounded. Sickles was wounded too.
Yeah.
And but
Barlow is an upper crust fellow from the Northeast. Right. He has connections. He marries
Shaw's sister.
Shaw's sister, yeah.
Robert Gould Shaw.
Yeah, Robert Gould Shaw's sister. And we know him from Glory.
Roberta Gould Shaw.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with him just by the name, he's Matthew Broderick in Glory. So he's from an upper crust area of Boston, Massachusetts area and all that. So maybe it's those connections, but he's not infamous. Sickles is an infamous guy before any war starts. And,
well, that's right. Yeah. Sickles is a controversial person already.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he goofs up at Gettysburg, or some people could look at it and say he goofed up at Gettysburg, and they already had a problem with him. Nothing. He could have done a perfect job, and they still would have found something wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's when you're looking at those two, in my mind, you're also looking at Barlow. You could say he lost, whether they lost the first day, won the first day. If you listen to last week's, it may feel like it happened last month. It felt like it happened half an hour ago.
It was cold then too.
Yeah. We talked about that. Did they win? Did they lose? And during the tour, I'm sure we'll talk about that. But anyway, Barlow obviously gets pushed off. We know that. But that's the end of the day. The day ends. They all run back through. You have Coster Avenue, all those things happen, but really it leads to the Union going to a better position. So it's almost easy to forget about those things. And it's first day. So if anybody wants to talk about anything, they want to talk about Buford, they want to talk about Reynolds, it's the first day. Sickles it took the whole army to save from what Sickles did.
Yeah, he
And so
really
it was-
endangered the army.
It could have been a much like at that point when what happened with Barlow was not necessarily going to determine the battle, the overall, the 3 days of battle. What Sickles did could have very easily determined the battle. Like if it wasn't for a few actions that happened at the right place, the right time, outstanding efforts by certain individuals, kind of filled up the holes, filled up the gaps, changed what happened. So there's I think the big difference is it's easy to forget Barlow because he's out here and he's a brigade commander, right?
And to that point,
he's not a corps commander.
The other end of the Union line crumbles as well, and that's Doubleday's left.
He's a division commander.
He's division. He moves up from brigade to division.
That's right.
Here.
So anyway, I think there's some of the differences.
What I think will be interesting about this one is, can we do the Barlow June 20th tour and have the discussion without it being a constant comparison between Sickles and Barlow? Because that's what we're doing right now, right? And but can we focus on just what Barlow? Sickles hasn't done what he does yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So will we be able, this will be the challenge for the whole group, all of us. Will we be able to forget what we know about the next day and just focus on what we know about July 1st with Barlow?
Right. And it's a
Knoll?
completely different set of decisions.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a different set of factors that lead to them making those decisions. And it's different. When we make decisions, we come into it with our experiences.
Yeah.
And so Sickles, you could argue, and I've heard things where they argue why he did what he did. Barlow, what he did was his own individual decision for his own individual. It had nothing to do with Sickles. Nobody knew what Sickles was going to do yet, right? Mm-hmm. So I think from that standpoint, that's where as we talk about being prepared, coming and if you want to do some research, think about those things. Think about what exactly led to him making the decision, because again, that had nothing to do with Sickles. No. Nothing in any way, shape. And Sickles didn't give a damn about what Barlow did. He didn't know anything about it.
No, right.
So yeah, it's easy to compare because it's easy to say the commander that took their troops way too far out, put them and they were only in a bad position because they lost. If they'd been moved out to that position and held it,
genius.
Wow, they were genius.
Yeah.
So
no, it's true. And it's funny because, like if you go out there today, Barlow's Knoll, if you think of a forehead, somebody's forehead, Barlow's Knoll is a zit on a forehead.
Yeah.
Right. It's not an imposing height, really. I mean, yeah, it gives you a little bit advantage if you can get your artillery up there, which I believe is what he was trying to do, right? It was to take it from the Confederates so that they couldn't put their artillery up there.
It's all, you see high ground, you think you got to have it. Mm-hmm. But not all high ground is made the same.
Right. Well, and I think the zit is a great analogy for it. It's just a hill. It's not a ridge. It's not a ridge that you can. So what happens to them?
This is before y'all's time, but
get surrounded.
They go around them.
Back in my heyday, when you watch the Flintstones, if they got hit on the head, this big knot.
Yes, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like this big knot.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's what it really is.
Some of these other positions, you get the high ground. Even not that we want to keep going to Sickles. Sickles moved out, and it's really kind of a ridge, but like you're moving out to high ground that you can build a line on. You can't build a line on top of that, on top of Blocher's Knoll, and so. What happens to him is what likely was going to happen is, yeah, it's great. You can hold, it's nice to have high ground, but when people can get all the way around you on that high ground, it ain't so great to have.
Well, no, right? I mean, you could build a line with that incorporates Blocher's Knoll, but you'd need more troops to extend it on the flat grounds on either side of it. And that's what happens is they're able to just surround him and chew him up. And he didn't have enough men. So many interesting things about this.
But Barlow was great because Gordon said he was.
Oh, right. Oh, that's another one.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that story, the Barlow Gordon.
Well, the people might, right, and somebody's going to want it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's, I'd rather talk about what he does, his view of the people he's leading. If you don't like the people you're leading or you're prejudiced against them, which he is, you shouldn't be leading them.
Well,
he's a horrible leader.
It's not like, he was assigned that, right? I mean, it's not like he campaigned to get that position.
But he had these feelings before.
Yeah.
You could voice it. Yeah, I'm not your guy. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. But you can't actively go into it, though, thinking, yeah, I don't like these guys. They're inferior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then move them out to an untenable position.
Right.
When you're a leader, especially in the military, I believe, and I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I was not in the military, but in those cases, when you're a leader, and here you're dealing with life and death, your job is to be a leader for all the people that are under you, whether you like them or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you go into it with preconceived notions that like these people were all like, whether he said in his mind, I don't care about them or not, I'm not saying that he did, but when you go in with that type of mentality that they're lesser and you're not going to give them your best effort as a leader, then you make decisions in a certain way that then has, puts the outcomes at a disadvantage. Like your outcomes, potential outcomes are worse. And again, I think that's where this discussion I think needs to go. Like those are the things as we do these tours. And if you've been a part of the other tours and you've heard us talk about the other ones, that's what this is about, is all of us having this conversation of how do those, what you know, what you think, what you feel drive you as a leader to make these command decisions, and then the effects that it has. Does it have an effect on the overall battle? No. But it has a major effect on the people that were there, the soldiers that were there, the wives, the kids that don't have people coming back because of those decisions.
Yep.
If you take people around the battlefield and it's a leadership tour, maybe a staff ride, maybe just people want to know about leadership specifically. You talk about Reynolds, you're coming down Confederate Avenue, you talk about Lee, Longstreet, even Chamberlain, Strong Vincent, around and around. You're only giving examples of good leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you learn from? You learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
In leadership, you learn just as much from bad leaders as you do from good leadership. Your bad leader example, this sounds trite, but Sickles is almost clownish. It's become sort of clownish.
Yeah.
Bad
Cartoonish.
leadership is Barlow. It's an example of bad leadership, and I'll get into more of that then.
All right.
And what I will do, if you haven't been there, if we can, take you down to see the on the right flank down near Rock Creek, the 54th New York marker down there.
Yeah.
Which, it's a debate. Which marker is rarely visited.
We may have to talk about how we do that. Like that may or
I'm
may
not
not
taking
be
everybody,
on
because
the
that's
permit.
not in the permit.
That is
I'm
not.
not gonna
That is
do that.
not part of our. That is
Now,
not part of our tour.
People
not
can
gonna take
hire
it.
you
I can't-
afterwards.
I can't
Yeah,
say
I have
where
to
our
hire
tour will be. If you're a patron, you will sign up and you will find out where our tour will
That's true.
be.
You will also, yes, you just said it, sign up. Yeah.
Yep. So at that point, you'll find out where we'll be. But we'll have to have a different conversation about that.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun for the patrons,
Point
though.
and say what's there.
It'll be fun for the patrons to all get together and feel, that you are as appreciated as you are.
Community.
And And like we said, this is reserved for the AG patron members only. And you got to join our Patreon to participate by either going to patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg, or if you go to our tour schedule on addressinggettysburg.com and you find the Get Out of the Car tour drop down, there's a QR code there, and you can just take a little shot of that QR code, and the world will be a better place once you do that. Then you get the secrets of our June 20th tour unlocked, the location, the starting location, and all of the other pertinent information that you're going to need. So that's it for us here.
God, I hope it warms up.
I do too. I am really sick of this global cooling.
-20 wind chill's killing us. I can't believe it's June and we're still
freezing. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the 20th, and hopefully we'll be thawed out by then. So thanks for joining us. Bye-bye now.